then positioning in the market in a manner so that reuse gets priority. Business process re-engineering. People do not buy technology. People are in the business to running grocery shop, to running banks, insurance companies, healthcare system. And what they would like to do, they would like to improve the business performances of those industries. So instead of talking about technology, our focus should be on the improving work processes, business performances. And software is one of the many components, among major 6 components. So software sits into those components in order to improve the performance of business processes. So our discussion should start from marketing to business process. Then you're coming up to requirement engineering. We had the tendency to push the maximum technology to work process without taking into the consideration of optimum use, maximize the benefit for the customer and maximize the benefit profit for us. So that's the focus should be shifted. Software architecture. We are very much interested to talk about different kind of software architecture like SOAP, SOA, or event-driven or other some kind of thing. What about product-driven architecture? Where the similar architecture could be shared in multiple products. Again, the reuse point will come in. And if we carefully look into over the decades, a number of software platforms are emerging. They are called invisible engines. We need to focus on what are those platforms which are emerging and will be leading the path over the next 10 years, 20 years. And we need to build competencies around them. We need to look into the way smartphone cluster, smartphone infrastructure, or smartphone architecture, or cloud computing are going to bring a sea change into our world of computing. And how are we preparing ourselves? Software technologies and quality coding. Yes, we need to know all those technologies, whether it's the .NET, whether it's Java, whether other things. But the point is that the time we are making the code, are we paying attention to the reusability of the code, readability of the code, the cost of coding, the cost of change? Those things should be taken into consideration in addition to knowing how to code. Coming to software engineering process. Lately, a long time ago, 10 years ago, the time I came to teach at North South University, I was sending my students to companies to talk about CMMI, to talk about software engineering process. And my students are coming back to me that with the message, they are getting very difficult to let them understand what's the difference between project management and process management. Anyway, a number of companies helped me to disseminate this information in the industry, including even the Computer Council. And lately, some companies got CMMI certification. And I have got the impression from different sources, after getting CMMI certifications, for those companies, cost of delivery has gone up, quality of delivery has not visibly increased, productivity has basically gone down, so companies have become financially weaker than before. Then what for this process? If the process improvement does not reduce my cost of delivery, does not improve my productivity, does not improve my competency, then that's a liability. That's not an asset. We need to do what? We need to do research, to innovate in process so that our companies can experience the benefit of higher use, lower UR, better predictability, lower time, higher productivity, lower cost, better quality, higher profit. And that's the place we need to work on. Software Engineering Institute in Carnegie Mellon University gets almost $200 million from US government, and it has been getting it over the last 20 years, not 30 years. They began the journey in 78. And what for? It is about prescribing the possible longest procedure and processes. For what? To deal with the complexity in developing software for US defense, for US government. Their money was not an issue. The reason is that a single accident may cost millions of dollars for the US defense industry or space industry. But our single mistake doesn't cost much. So we cannot afford to spend a huge amount of money to deal with a much lower consequences. Moreover, we have been also found that in our software companies who have got the CMMI certification, they first develop the software based on mental model. Then they produce a series of documentation to comply with the CMM certification. So what has happened? Your cost of delivery has gone up by producing a series of documents. What for you are producing the series of documents to put a simple certification on your door? That certification doesn't bring revenue for your company. So we do follow process, we do produce documents to reduce rework, to increase reuse. So if they are not used to bring those benefits, and if the cost of producing them is not less than the benefit, then that's a liability. And US government didn't sponsor research for working on that. Government of India didn't sponsor research. European community didn't sponsor research. Japanese government didn't sponsor research because their companies are not facing this problem. What we are facing, because our market is different. So we have to do our research to figure out how can we improve the process to make our company stronger rather than weaker. Project management is a serious issue. Apple had a Macintosh team or this smartphone, iPhone team. A single team is dedicated for a single product over years. Microsoft has a Windows team. They have a single project where people have been dedicatedly working over a long period of time. But look at our software companies. They're working on smaller projects. Multiple projects are running on a single company. And the length of time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, not much. So here resource is highly shared between projects. So our resource optimization is an issue, so that our cost of delivery goes up. We do not deal with technology complexity. We do not deal with the large size of the project. We deal with the efficiency of delivery. So that is the place we need to work on. And US research institutions do not work on that issue. So it's our job to work on. Looking to quality assurance and testing. Quality assurance is not about exhaustive testing. It's about the defect prevention and early detection and minimize the testing. But it happens to be our industry is focused in terms of quality assurance in the form of exhaustive testing or no testing. So let the customer find what are the bugs. We need to work on to figure out how can you bring competence in the industry for defect prevention, for early detection of defect, and minimize the resource for the testing. So that, but we should not compromise the quality of delivery. Algorithm and machine intelligence. So far, our industry still has the application areas it is working is basically 50 years old. That accounting, that HR, that so-called ERP solution, that's basically conventional computing, which has a very little algorithmic component. Let me give you an example, like Agora or this Nandan. Agora or Nandan. Agora has the inventory solution. And that inventory technology is 50 years old. What Agora needs? Agora needs to find a software solution for inventory management to decrease the cost of retailing, to increase the revenue from retailing, to increase the profit from retailing. And that requires advanced algorithm. In a number of industries, if you like to really bring high value software solution, you need to work on algorithm development, machine intelligence. And that part we are missing. Innovation management. It's very casually we talk about innovation or innovation management. Software business means about delivering software innovation to improve work processes. The software which has been developed once, it has no further, you would say that financial attractiveness just to copy it. Copying does not add value. It's about innovating a new solution. Innovation management has got a strong footing in the Western world. It's a very well established and well developed discipline that is missing in our software industry. We need to bring innovation management so that we can manage software innovation to maximize our profitability. End message. Focus on competency for improving the value of delivery, for reducing the cost of delivery, lowering the time of delivery, improving the predictability delivery, and last, increasing the economy of scale of delivery. Our universities are engaged in a business of teaching books, teaching science and technology, not in building the minds to create value out of science and technology. So even you do make every Bangladeshi baby a science graduate or engineering graduate, you are not going to make the quality of life of Bangladesh better. You will be simply creating more unemployed, frustrated youths and bankrupt families. So instead of focusing on producing more graduates, we should focus on how can we graduates make more valuable for creating business value, for increasing profit of companies, making companies larger. Let's solve this issue first. Then let's figure it out how to scale up that model. Point to keep it in mind, high-tech industry in USA, very often we cite an example, a spin-off of university research. If you look into the route number 128 around Boston, if you look into the Silicon Valley or whatever the hotspots in North America and Europe you can talk about, they are basically spin-off of US university research. Industry doesn't come just all of a sudden through factory buildings and hiring people taking bank loans. They are manufacturing industries. That's the replication industry. But that's not the high-tech industry. High-tech industry is spin-off of university research. Universities are source of ideas, technologies and innovation for every wave of growth. Isolation of university from the software industry in Bangladesh must be addressed in order to enable us for developing consistently growing, highly profitable software or IT companies. Our companies are not growing over the last 30 years. Our companies are not creating success story. What is the incentive for a student to go for the computer science or IT education? Because example is not there to look for. So we need to figure it out. How can our software companies grow? And my understanding is that it's about the weak research component from the universities driving the next phase of growth of our software companies. Universities should take leadership of next phase of growth of Bangladesh's software industry. That is innovation-led growth. Innovation in business value creation, innovation in production process for the economy of scale. That's the place we need to focus on. Innovation in marketing, process, product, manage, project, economy of scale for one particular reason, managing the growth of software firms. If software firms consistently grow, believe me, the rest of it will be solved. So let's focus the goal. Then try to figure out what are the minimum things I need to do in order to achieve my goal, not to talk about the maximum things. Instead of covering the whole world with the leather to make my feet free of dust, let's cover our feet first. And regarding to that education policy of Bangladesh, education policy should be geared towards the economic growth of the nation. Then other benefits should be taken on consideration at spin-offs. Thank you very much.